streaming. I hope it saved that. Dude.
Do we have a thumbnail?
I got the one I put up there because of the what I called it.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the Hunters thing though, so yeah. I ain't got the Hunters thing on there.
Well, I was getting some food. I looked at my phone for notification. That must say copyright strike. I was like, Lord.
Oof.
I
Oof.
said, Lord. Right before Christmas, I'm like, y'all niggas couldn't have waited till after?
I swear, bro. When I tried to upload videos today, I got that little warning because I got two. The motherfucker said, "Careful now, you got 2 strikes." I said, "Skip." Fuck you niggas, man. I gotta upload.
It was hurtful, bro. I was like, that's some cold blood stuff. Right before Christmas, they have no chill.
I just wish they would change that, man. Like, but how would they change it?
I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I get it because, like, if somebody used mine or your video and try to pass it off as their own,
I don't
like,
care. Actually, they did that.
Yeah, like
on my old channel, they were doing that.
And like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, bro, it's like,
was I popping? Was I popping like that? Like, one of my friends looked up my YouTube name, and there was some Japan site using my solo videos.
What?
Like, all of them, like, just uploading them, and I was like, what?
Bruh. I'm sure somebody out there using my intro because I've been told that somebody been peeping my intro and shit.
It's not.
I'm like, bro.
My girl saw it. She's like, "Oh, that's a good intro." I was like, "You traitor!" Like, nah, But I was a hater. I said he didn't make it. I was like, "What? He didn't make it."
Why you such a hater, dog?
Look, I don't care. Like I tell everybody right now, if it comes to it, I'm a hater. I don't care. I will hate, and I will tell you, and I will tell you that I hate it. Like I'm just.
That is the funny part. It's like I don't feel like it's true hate because you also be like, yeah, I was hating on it.
Yeah, 100%. I was like, nah, this ain't gonna happen to me. You finna take my shine like that. I made my intro.
This nigga said I made my intro.
I paid for it. It's all right. It's all the same.
Yeah.
Believe me, if I could get what's up, everybody? If I could get somebody to make mine, I liked it. I just want mine to be simple though. So man.
What up, Blaine? I got my first YouTube strike, bro. Shit hurt. It's all good though. It's all good. Y'all ready?
Yeah, you at 1. I don't feel sorry for you,
bro. I should be at 0.
Look, I mean, you get yours reversed.
I hope so.
I mean, there's been justice with the YouTube strikes out there. I don't want anybody to get strikes, but if you're gonna get one, I ain't gonna talk about it. Never mind. I ain't gonna talk about it. Never mind. I ain't gonna talk about it. Just be live. I'm not talking about it. Solo Warrior, what's up, man? You know what? I'm feeling good today.
So, y'all ready to go ahead and get this started?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, hold on. Let me mute this thing. All these notifications. I don't even know what the notifications coming from, so I'm not gonna mute it. All right. Maybe I should find a way to mute it. I don't know where the fuck it's coming from. Oh, don't mind me. You can go ahead and get started. Wow.
What's up, John? Chilling, you know. Asking Jin-woo to cure your illness. Millions are dying. Illness. God, that's very true. All right. What is going on, everyone? Hunter Association Podcast back again. We're 132 this time. And as a Discord, they didn't tell me that the hype died down, but the way that they reacted, it was talking about the chapter. I knew the hype had died down. It was eventually going to happen. Before we get into that, we're here with the usual suspects. Actually, Seraph is not here. Instead, he's traveling, so we're just going to leave it at that. But we got the JD here with the TheOtakuFix. How's it going, man?
could be better, you know. Started my Christmas off with a strike, you know, on my channel. It kind of hurts, but you know, I'm still thugging out here, raw dogging, no panels, no
Ooh.
filters out here. It's self overgeared.
I'm gonna need you to use protection out here, sir. Not raw dogging. Anyways, Trent motherfucking Money. Well, how's it going, man?
You already know who it is, man. We out here.
And I am JC, aka alwaysjcarson. So solo. I thoroughly enjoyed the chapter. I don't mind the non-hypeness. I like to calm down every now and then, but I know how Trent felt about it. We'll get to it in a second. So JD, how do you feel about the chapter?
The chapter was cool. It did start off like a little bit high because we saw some, you know, carnage, I should say. But then, you know, kind of somber some and then pick back up and then back to somber some. But it wasn't as hype as the past few chapters, of course. You do need that cool down time, but at the same time, you know, it was pretty decent chapter. Now that you sit back and now that I'm sitting back and reflecting on it.
I was a little confused. So Trent, I see you were in the chat over here in Twitter, but how did you feel about the chapter, man?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. So as you see, I just tagged you both. But you funny too. As far as the chapter goes, man, 7 out of 10. I was underwhelmed, and I will just say maybe it's unfair for me to. Are we on just YouTube or Twitch? That
Just
was
YouTube.
a random segue, but yeah, it's probably unrealistic for me to expect for every chapter to be an 8 or beyond out of 10. Which in reality, I can't think back to any real. Though I always am disappointed because I don't get what I want, I've never really been like, oh, this was a trash chapter. You know what I'm saying? This one I was like, okay, the story development or the way they segue to the next subject was a little off. I don't know if it was the translations or to the time we jumped into Jin-ho's dad, and shout out to Christian because I didn't even know it was Jin-ho's dad until he said it in my comments. But we jumped off into that scenario with I had forgot who the nigga was. You know what I'm saying?
It has been a minute since we've seen him.
You know, and it was a weird
transition.
It was a weird transition because it's like, okay, so we know what's happening or assumably happening across the globe. So we know the world is basically in turmoil with either broken gates or gates that are open. You know what I'm saying? And just basically marinating. And this nigga Sung Jin-woo was basically like, yo, I'm chilling. You know, I'm gonna take a step back. That was a bit kind of jarring to me.
Really?
Even though he's not, again, I know he's not he's not a hero per se, but at the same time, that's a weird. I felt like it was kind of a weird stance to take when you know, when you're at that point seeing it live, so you know monsters are on the yard basically. You know these niggas is on the yard, and you're just like, okay, well, he's like, that ain't my problem right now, type shit, you know. But I don't know.
Hey man, it's kind of like what Christian said in mine. Like, yeah, I know I can't pay for your services, but I'm gonna try anyway. You know, slide this your way.
Okay, so I guess it sounds
and that was
like
a blank check, by the way.
It was a blank check.
He said, fill that motherfucker out with whatever number you need.
It is a blank
whatever
check.
you want.
So it sounds like you were not feeling the chapter. I can understand your 7. I saw some 6.5s and 7s in the chat. Go ahead and explain to me why you guys why you thought this 6.5 to 7, because I did not feel that way. And I guess I'll tell you guys right now. Okay, so look. Jin-woo was out for 3 days. Japan we don't know the actual state of Japan, but we know we give RIP to Yuri Orlov? We gonna even
we gonna discuss him because homie went out kind of bad, but you know.
But did you expect anything different? We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so here's my rebuttal to the whole Jin-woo thing, right? number one, Jin-woo is not a hero, which was just said a second ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when have we seen Jin-woo take action when it came to the country? And I'm going to answer the question right here. It was when the Jeju Island raid. Why did he do that? Because number one, he wasn't going to take action. His mom was just revived. His family was doing good. Everything was fine until he realized that they can't handle the situation. And because he lives in Korea, he's like, hey, that's going to affect me and my family. So let me go ahead and take care of it. But this right here is in Japan. I mean, I'm not sure how far away it is, but it's not Korea. So therefore, he's like, he's chilling. He's like, do I take care of this? No, there are other nation levels out there. His sister has been traumatized. Like, let me just chill out. I can handle this later if I really need to handle it. If it gets close to me, then, we'll take care of it. But it's not immediately affecting him. So therefore, he's going back to his normal, I ain't got to do nothing yet. Somebody will handle it mode.
True. I don't think that's gonna last though. I think he's just
Of course, he's the main
he's gonna
character.
be like, right. I mean, if we're looking at it, it's the same as the Jeju effect. Like, yeah, I'm gonna chill. I'm not gonna go. And then he'd be like, yo, fuck it, I'm going. I mean, even though granted, the only reason he rushed to Jeju was because Olin was in danger. But I think in this case, he's gonna be like, yo, they ain't nobody gonna stop this. I need to go myself because nobody's gonna be willing to do it unless they get a huge payday. Me, I'm not caring about the money. I'm trying to level up and figure out what the hell is
exactly
the mysteries of the system and these other people and all of this stuff. So I think he's just gonna go just for his own volition and everything instead of just sitting back on the wayside like in Jeju.
And that's exactly what I mean. Like, at this point in time, I completely agree with what you just said, because he should already be there at this point. You know what I'm saying? He should already at this point be like almost kind of like taking almost, I can't say all the dungeons, but basically kind of making it a priority, because he's still the closest thing that at least we know about who has relation, maybe besides his dad, that has relation to what's going on. So now that he's got, I guess you could say, even one step closer with kind of running into the architect and taking that dub and and all of that, you would think like, okay, you would think that, especially since this one broke, you're like, okay, there's something about this one. Maybe I should go handle it, or maybe I should kind of get involved now. Not only because of the gate shit and the direct relation he has to it, but I mean, again, people are getting slaughtered at this point in time. This nigga got 8. You know what I'm saying? He just got popped like a Skittle, like a Tic Tac.
We'll get to him. Jesus Christ. That happened. But at the same time, you got to remember that not only is there an S-rank gate in Japan, there are S-rank gates opened up all over the world. So it's not like he's the only one that can handle it, but he's the only one that's technically quote unquote available, even though he's not considered nation level yet. Everybody else is just busy.
Flex them shadows. Start sending some bodies. But, you know what I'm saying? Start exercising a little bit of power. Okay, now, I understand he hasn't rested.
Okay, put it this way, right? So, what is it? Jonathan, I would say Jonathan, but anyways, Romario in the chat said, you gotta think of it this way. So his mom went through the whole, what do they call that? The sickness that they have? The
eternal sleep.
Eternal sleep, right? His mom just woke up. Next thing you know, Jin-woo comes back out for 3 days straight, and his sister is worried about him never waking up again. Right? He just saw his mom go through it, and then Jin-woo's gone for 3 days, out like a light, and then we transition to Jin-O's dad with the whole eternal sleep thing going on. So I mean, the story didn't like blindside us with it. It gave it to us. And to be honest, it wasn't blindsided. But I mean, Jin-woo, like, his family is his like top priority, and then after that you have the whole. But what's his motivation to fight right now?
Right.
I mean, does he have motivation to fight right now? I mean, he just beat.
Not really. The only motivation he may have to fight is because he did say if this doesn't get taken care of, it's going to be the Jeju incident and it's going to travel, to where I am. So that's like his only main incentive for going to fight right now. But other than that, he doesn't really have one unless he just wants to find out more answers about the system and what the hell is going on. If he thinks he can even find answers, why going?
Well, same. I mean, his goal his immediate goal was the double dungeon. And that's over with. You know, he saw the memories with the other monarchs, and they're betraying the Shadow Monarch. But after that's over, he hasn't seen a monarch. He hasn't seen his dad. Like, he hasn't seen anything besides this dungeon opening up. He watched it on the news, but I mean, he has no motivation right now. Everything in his world is fine.
Right.
So that's why you see Jin-woo sitting on the couch. That's why you see Jin-woo sitting in the park. Like, there's no motivation for him to do anything. Okay, everybody in the chat, like, y'all really going at solo like this? Like,
wait, what they saying?
They're saying, or I saw Blaine say at first that Orv seems to be the main series that they're focusing on right now. So Soul Level is taking the back seat. Y'all think the production and the story has went down that far?
Ooh, hot takes.
Is that what we're thinking right now?
That's what it sounded like, bro. That's what it's sounding.
Wow, how dare you guys go to the Church of Jin-woo like this?
The Church of Woo.
Yeah, that's a bit blasphemous.
It is.
I mean, well, granted, Orb is a more popular series in Korea than Solo.
Is it?
So
I have no idea.
Yeah, Orb, the light novel was like number 2 in all of Korea. So it is a way more popular series in Korea than Solo. So if they are given a little bit more favoritism towards omniscient reader, that would explain why, because it is a overall more popular series. Of course, in the West, Solo is more popular to us right now because Orb just started out, so we're not too deep into Orb. But yeah, so that could be a reason. I'll just have to, shed some light. Also, what up, Grim? Glad you could join us, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, Graham with the deep voice. What's up, man? So
that boy got that woke up voice. Yeah.
So as of right now, we're just talking about the chapter 132. So I guess we'll get your initial thoughts on the chapter. How'd you feel about it?
The shit was short.
It was short?
Yeah, it was short.
I mean, I guess we didn't get the action and everything like that, but I mean, like, were you surprised at Jin-woo's reaction to Japan and he didn't do anything about it? Like,
yeah, that was actually the surprising part. The fact that he didn't take action, or that there wasn't that much surprise. The previous chapter didn't give that much more context to Sun Jin-woo's condition, besides the fact that he like knocked out for a few days and was out like that. We hadn't really seen Sung push to that extent in a long time, since like before, when he was doing the training and like getting sent to the sand dunes for missing the morning sessions. So it was unusual, or at least unexpected, to see him have that such adverse reaction to fighting the creator, because for all intents and purposes, the creator fight was tough, but I was expecting it to be tougher or more threats. It seemed kind of like one-dimensional. The statues really only had the ability to like reconstruct themselves, besides their like initial like strong capabilities. You know, their great size, great attacking power, or whatever. And the god statue, it uses lasers pretty well. Sung had to like avoid him once or twice in a pivotal instance, one time too, where he barely dodged it, but he was able to overcome it once his level 103 really to start show out. So I was actually surprised that it affected him that much, that he would even be considering, like, I would say, hesitating in his hunter role in regards to this fight. I want to say that like the last chapter really threw a lot of things into question, like his origins, the relationship that he has with like other individuals, how this supernatural anomalous system like had intentions with him for a while now, and it's controlling a lot of things that's happening with him. Like, there's a lot of things that are on Sun Jin-woo's plate. I feel like we need maybe another chapter to like really flesh those things out so we could see them better. But Sung should have been in Japan right now.
What I was saying to everybody before you got here was that, I mean, this is not the first time we've seen him be kind of apathetic or kind of just lackluster when it came to a gate. Like, we saw him at Jeju Island. He wasn't he thought that the other hunters could handle it. So he was literally walking in that same park before he realized, like, oh, they're in danger. Let me go help them. Like, this same thing with Japan. He's looking at that as like, they'll be okay. Somebody will go help eventually.
Do you think? Well, I don't necessarily agree that like the stories, or at least in this chapter, it alluded that his reasoning would be that he's depending on others.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I think was actually my biggest concern, that he didn't mention that, oh, there are others there that he could depend upon. So while I do agree that in the Juju Island example, he did say that we did have the expectation, and we also didn't know the strength of the S class. That was a big mystery at the time period. We hadn't seen a true S class fight, so it was reasonable to believe that maybe others could handle. But now Japan just got devastated with their little like scheming tree that they did on the Juju Island raid. It turns out that this a Russian guy, Orlov or whatever, was full of junk. So like, and granted, Sun Jin-woo doesn't know all these variables, but right now, like I said, I think Sun Jin-woo should be in Japan.
Yeah, I think we all can agree he definitely should be in Japan. Like I said, the only reason I think he's hesitant ongoing is because, one, his sister asked him not to go. But the only reason or thing he will have to go is just to prevent it from spreading. Other than that, he doesn't really have a direct need to go. As far as anything learning more about the monarch and the second heart and all of that stuff, there's no indication that he's going to get those answers if he goes. I mean, of course, there's the opportunity or the slight chance he could find out more information if he goes. But if we're looking at it from his perspective, it's just a dungeon break. It doesn't mean he's going to get any more answers than what he already has. So it's kind of just like iffy. So that's why I said the only reason he would want to go is just to prevent it from spreading to where he is.
I mean, think about it. It's shadow hunting season. Like, those are giants.
Yeah, like if he gets giants, like it's OP as fuck, but I mean, which we all think he's going to end up going anyway. I mean, let's just be clear.
Main character,
right,
of course.
Right. Let's just be clear on that. He's going to end up going eventually. So it's just on. Yeah, he's going to go.
Okay, look, we were talking about earlier. So there are gates. There are S-rank gates open up all over the world. So there's no nation levels that are going to go to this gate because they have their own problems to deal with. So I mean, of course he's going to. I feel like he's going to go.
I think the fact that they have made that gate like a prominent gate could be a reason to support what you're saying, that like he probably is going to end up going to this one. But just in the same, to use more of what you just mentioned, there are multiple gates popping up all over the world. It seems to be the event that Sun Jin-woo's dad was talking about. And we saw the monarchs arriving, like the ice monarch that arrived with the other like wild guy a few chapters ago. And they were talking about like showing up around some islands that they seem to be talking about either South Korea or Japan. So if the Japanese gate is the gate that they were talking about, going there as a group or coming with force, then the Japanese gate may be the biggest or the strongest raid point. I personally don't have a cohesive picture of like the background of solo leveling yet. I don't think anybody that's just reading the manhwa does exactly, but I definitely could say I could use a reread. But just to like paint to you guys what I'm picturing, it's like a different dimension, and these gates are opening the passageway to the other dimension. And it's weird because, or the confirmation to that to an extent, is Sun Jin-woo's dad being able to go from Korea to the United States when entering a dungeon. That means that there's a third place, which is the dimension that we're talking about, where all these monsters and individuals are coming from, and he happened to get access to it. The question is, why is it, I guess it's the dialogue that's confusing. Why is it being called like a game or a system? Like, this individual has so much power and so much control. Is it really that what Sun Jin-woo's been going through is just a scheme from the Shadow Monarch, and that we're confusing that for a wider range of powers? Because I think it's hard to like really point out what I'm saying. I have to mention more references. In whenever we see Sun Jin-woo have the system gates open, right? The system is like the demon castle, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was something that was an improvement that the game offered to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that's separate from the dimension all these monsters and all these gates are coming from. I feel like it's the same place. And this double gate would almost confirm that. The double gate should be a part of the dimension. But at the same time, it seems like the creator is actually creating these things. Like the architect is actually making dungeons, or he's actually making monsters, or like it's hard to like pinpoint or say with exactitude what the rules or what the powers are, because I'm not even confident that the architect is real. I honestly believe that he's just a pawn of the Shadow Monarch, and the Shadow Monarch is using Sun Jin-woo's body as a form of resurrection, kind of like in Seven Deadly Sins to an extent. Not that, but there's many.
Yeah, there's plenty of those instances. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so I think it's something like that. The gaming dialogue is really just a trick from the Shadow Monarch. Well, all the gates that are popping up in the world naturally are actually of this separate dimension.
Right.
That's what I believe. If that's correct or not, I'm not sure.
Okay, so I guess my theory on it is that everything that has to do with the system is something that the architect actually made for Sung Jin-woo to make him stronger. Now, I think, at least in my opinion, the Shadow Monarch was supposed to take over Sung Jin-woo's body, but for some reason it did not happen. Maybe he was the quote unquote better, person, better, stronger person, maybe stronger mentally, whatever the reason was, he didn't take over the body.
Mm-hmm.
And so we saw the architect really confused because he was talking about how the Shadow Monarch was about to be born, that type of stuff, about to come into the world. It didn't happen. He was really confused of why it didn't happen. So he was trying to make Sung Jin-woo strong enough to be the body of the Shadow Monarch, but it didn't happen. So when it came to Demon King Baron and that whole fight and that whole arc, I mean, we found out Baron was actually already dead, so that wasn't a real Baron.
Yeah. But, so was that all an illusion of like the past then?
Well, I'm not saying that it was an illusion of the past. Like, he saw the memories of the past, but this was just a special gate that only Jin-woo could enter, just like the double dungeon. He had to have a special key and no one knew about. He had a system that no one could see or.
Yeah, so I'm asking, like the demon castle, right?
Yeah,
that's where Baron was the leader of. That's where he encountered that demon girl that became quite well acquainted with Sung Jin-woo. Are we saying that like all of those things there were created by the architect, or is that also part of this separate dimension that these things are coming from?
Well,
I would say it's separate dimension.
Yeah, because here's the thing that we have to remember that, what was her name? I never remember that girl.
Seal?
Yeah, Seal said that they were all brought to that dimension. They were all brought there. So they were actually real, but it was something that was created by the system, and Baron was not real. So everything that Jin-woo fought was real because they were all brought there, and they were all told to kill humans. That was
why is Baron not real?
Because Baron's already dead.
But he was real when he killed him.
I mean, we didn't necessarily see Baron die in that flashback. He was defeated, but we didn't see him die.
Oh, he got he get blown up, or
his whole head was like taken off or something.
Yeah, but that panel afterwards, that's when the whole wingding thing happened, huh?
Oh, whenever he was like, we saw that Sung Jin-woo was actually in there.
Yeah, so he wasn't killed.
Y'all are
but so
throwing me off. I don't even know.
Yeah, see, that's the whole point, that like there are certain instances that are obviously there to throw us off. The mystery isn't unraveled yet, but I feel strongly enough that like I thought Baron was real.
Yeah, everything is real because of the flashbacks we've seen. So we know these things are real. We know that they were transported to where we are in the story as far as, the world we're in. So it's real. It's just.
But was the Baron that we fought real?
I would assume the Baron that we did fight is real because it wasn't.
What?
I'm pretty sure it wasn't shown that Baron died in that chapter. I'm pretty. Yo, chat. Did Baron die in that flashback?
You just pull it
or
up. Let me see.
that's too much work for me. I'll just ask the chat. Because I'm pretty sure.
Said he pierced his neck and dropped Baron.
But
Yeah.
we didn't
What
see
up,
Baron
Yamate?
die.
No, Baron died, bro.
Yeah, Baron. I'm pretty sure in that flashback, Baron was definitely dead.
We didn't see him die.
It
We
didn't
did not
say
see
he
him
died,
die.
though. It did not say he died.
We saw him die though. Yeah, I'm not.
We can assume he
Could have
died.
been it could have been a
We
knockout,
can
but here's the thing.
assume he died, but they never said he died.
Go ahead, Trent. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
In the chapter 129, he's holding him by the neck, and then he says an unknown quote,
Mhm.
and then what is Sung Jin-woo, we believe to be the Shadow Monarch, squeezes his neck, and it seems to pop him or crack his neck.
Okay, does it show anything after that?
His eyes are whitening. Where am I?
It was
Yeah, he just
implied,
drops him.
but it
Yeah.
wasn't confirmed. But
Yeah, it's implied that he's dead. Like his body drops limp, and he takes his helmet off.
and that's why I would think.
Oh no,
I don't know.
yeah, he's still right there with smiling and shit.
That's he's alive.
That's why I said we can assume he died, but it was never stated that he did die. Now, it could have just been a resimulation of Baron for that particular thing for Jin-woo, but at
Unless
the
he
same,
died
smiling.
What if it was the real
he could have
Baron?
died.
Like literally.
Yeah, he may be dead smiling. I'll
Yeah,
drop the. I don't have a Discord, but
Yeah, okay. Well, whether he was dead or alive, I guess
there's a
They-
link
they-
right there.
he could be.
they never said. We just assumed he died, but it was never stated that he was actually killed.
So you're saying that in this flashback where the Shadow Monarch is fighting Baron, that he somehow survives, and then Sung Jin-woo encounters the elder or residual or like the remains of the like almost dead Baron.
Possible.
I mean,
I'm just stating that we don't know for sure that Baron died. We just assumed, given what happened in those panels, but it was never confirmed whether he lived or died after that. All we know is we saw the flashback, but before the flashback, we was fighting Baron, and Jin-woo knocked his head off. So anything other than that, we don't know.
I mean,
well, he's dead now, but I'm talking about before, it was never confirmed.
We're seeing the system do things like literally repair Jin-woo's like arms at the very beginning. It's after the arm and the leg is literally making Jin-woo so he has no limit and keep leveling up. I mean, the system has done some crazy things. So if Baron wasn't totally dead, I mean, it's not beyond the scope of belief that they could have done something
to bring Baron back.
To bring him back from the brink of death. Like, it's not beyond that scope.
I can't hop on that train.
Yeah, I'm throwing out weird.
Here's the thing. If it does have to do with Baron's betrayal, depending upon the definition of the terms behind wingding, if it has something to do with the system,
the system would have been. That's all wingding.
No. It was just a typo. Windings is. How do they say?
That was just my joke for winding.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we figured it out after.
Right. So at that point, like, if it's somehow in tie with the system, maybe it had a deal or where it would bring him back, or maybe it just brought him back just because it was something that he could use. You know what I'm saying? Or like he could use to kind of test Sung Jin-woo's ability. But again, I don't know.
That was a lot of I don't know. So I feel like, and I hope that the actual story will bring it to light eventually. But it's kind of hard to tell. I think the whole Baron thing might be over.
Yeah, I think that's over and done with.
All right, let's just talk about the elephant in the room.
Yuri?
Did Yuri Orlov get the go to a Ryuji treatment?
No, he didn't get to go to a Ryuji treatment just because his death was on screen.
No, bro, it was much worse.
Because his death was on screen, he didn't get the Goto treatment. I mean, let's be real. We knew Yuri was kind of low key trash in the beginning.
No. What?
No.
No.
I'm just
I bought into that, bro. I thought that was old boy, man. I thought Orlov was about to stop the world. Like,
Hell no. I knew that
no.
nigga was
Fuck
capping.
no.
I knew he was capping.
I
No,
bought
no.
into that cat money.
Nobody thought
That
he
nigga
was gonna
was
stop
capping.
him.
And he was
No,
Russian,
no.
bro. Oh, for sure.
Even
Like,
more
yeah.
reason why not.
Y'all are not going to tell me. Like, look, okay, to hit Yuri's credit, he has never seen a gate like this before. Like, I mean, I understand. Like, this is literally.
But we saw it. We just seen it.
I mean, he saw it. I mean, yeah, I'm saying, but like for every other gate that's A ranked or below, he has had zero issue of
No,
dealing
I
with
get
this
the
gate.
confidence. I just knew he was gonna get washed.
I mean, everybody
Right.
knew that.
He
part,
just didn't
but-
know he was getting stepped in. He just didn't know what he was stepping into.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And if
had
it
no
was-
faith that he was gonna stop this. Zero.
Yeah,
Zero.
the fact that he went out of his way for him to say that, like, basically for him to flex like he knew he had it with no problem. He was drinking, you know what I'm saying? He was carrying on. Like, he was setting himself up for embarrassment.
Exactly.
Nah, I think all those things were part of his bravado. The fact that like he was all jeweled up, like it exuded confidence. He like every single one of his statements, he assured it with concrete ultimatums. Like it is this. Like you don't have
Yeah.
other options. Like pay me this or else. And don't get me wrong, like he did force Japan's hand, and that was one of the reasons why they actually picked him. But like I said, Bright. Cash Money, like he even showed up with it too. Like in the beginning, I'll just end it with like Orlov had to talk, but he didn't get a chance to walk.
No, here's the thing. I'm not even saying that he did like to JC's point. He probably has walked the walk plenty of times on some regular shit. But again, just I understand what you're saying as far as that's his bravado, that's his character, you know. But I just knew that at the point of the story focusing in on him saying he could handle it, there was just no way that he was just gonna handle it. The writing, how the writing went, you know what I'm saying? It would have been trash if he did handle it, in my opinion, because we wouldn't need to see it because he's handled other shit. We didn't need to see that, you know what I'm saying? We just need to see the one thing he can't handle.
Okay,
so I knew he was gonna get washed.
Okay, I'll get to that. What's going on in the chat right now in a second. But okay, let's put it this way, right? From if I'm not mistaken, the giants that we've seen, Yuri Orlov could handle them because when the first giant came out, which we thought was really big because of how the panel showed it, he's like, "You think you're gonna be able to stop me? No, Yuri's fine." The giant was hitting the barrier. He's like, "You can't handle this. I'm good." Then the other giant that was even bigger than him came out. That was not supposed to come out. Like nobody knew this giant was going to come out. So that's why Yuri failed because the normal giants that he deals with are nothing to him. But I mean, he's facing. I'm not even sure if the boss if it's going to be bigger than that giant. Then I mean, like, what are we dealing with?
We know that. I mean, we don't know, but I assume that wasn't even the boss. That was more like a general type, mini commander of those.
That's literally
giants.
the second thing that came out the gate was something that was even bigger than the thing that we. Of course, Yuri's gonna fail. Like
that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, but it was set up for him to fail in the beginning. Like, let's just be honest, bro.
Yo, he got the Goto Ryuji treatment. I don't care what y'all say. Goto was
The only reason I don't say he got the Goto treatment because Goto got off screen. At least we saw Yuri's death on screen.
I mean, cool. You saw him get tossed in the air and eaten.
I mean, it was fucked up, but
Attack on Titan? Is that what we're doing right now?
Attack on Titan, bro.
They both fell well short of their expectations.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, did we really have expectations for Yuri, though?
Yes, we did.
Goto is different.
100%.
Goto, we had expectations for. Yuri, I had zero expectations for because it was known that he was going to fail. So I had no expectations for him.
But why do you know he's going to fail? Because number one, the story said it, but Goto Ryuji was the strongest in what country?
Let me put it
Exactly.
like this. Are you expecting the American to fail?
No.
American who?
When the American, I forgot his name.
I don't care who it was. They all failing because nobody.
No. Okay. No. Hold on. No. You're not doing that right now. We're not.
I am doing that.
Nation levels, y'all don't y'all do it. Don't you do it.
Stop it.
The American
Yeah,
guy
again,
will
I
not
can do
fail.
that.
The guy with the shorts that came in talking that cash money
You talking about
first. in
Andre
Korea?
Thomas?
Yes, Andre Thomas will
Y'all-
not lose his first fight.
Y'all
And the
are-
same
Here's
for
the
the 5 to 6 Sentinels that the Americans gathered for the Dragon in the West that showed up over there. I think they got like 22 heroes.
That's nation levels now.
Yeah.
but-
They got
Yeah,
22
but like
guys.
all of
only
them died
6
except what 6?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
Those
nation level
guys.
now?
Those guys
Yeah.
are studs. They're not losing. They have the
I'm just
benefit of
saying,
the doubt beforehand. Same
I
like
mean,
Yuri.
they had to sacrifice pretty much the entirety of the S ranks that was there, and they were just happy to survive. I mean, but I
What-
mean, you know,
Access story
if
didn't
that's
say
what we
that.
wanna go.
Nope.
I'm
You're-
just saying.
all I'm
I'm just
saying is
saying
that
that's what we're going with. I'm just
The
saying.
same confidence that I have for Andre, I had for Yuri.
But yours not a nation level. Why would you have that same confidence?
Okay, because the story, like, if we didn't have to go through Ryuji's story, we
He
wouldn't know.
specialized in barriers. That's why.
Exactly. He was the strongest barrier user that the
He
story
wasn't-
gave us.
If Yuri was a nation level, I would understand your point. But because he wasn't, I don't understand your point.
Well, that's because you know that monarchs are here. You know that, it's an S level gate. You know how bad S level gates are. We know this because of the story. But any other time, Yuri's supposed to be able to tank that and be just fine.
I mean, to be honest, we don't know what nation level is.
Exactly. But apparently, we just think nation levels are weak these days.
Yeah, like this,
I
like
didn't say they're weak. I said they're going to become.
there is nothing in the story
They're
that says that
going
Sun
to
Jin Woo's
become
nation
fodder.
level.
Eventually, but I mean, now they
I
can't
think Sun
handle.
Jin.
Go ahead, yeah.
I was saying that like, well, no, I'll assert that that there's even Sun Jin Woo right now. It's questionable whether he's nation level. Like maybe when he's able to like defend the entirety of Korea, like he was, we were getting hints of before. He was sending his shadows.
I don't
patrol
think
the
that is.
neighborhood.
No, I think Jin was nation level.
But
I don't think that's a question.
But why?
Why?
Yes.
One, we know Jin-woo's feats better than anyone in the story. So
We don't know
Saying
that.
why is disrespectful to Sung Jin Woo at this point.
facts. So the only
No, it's not.
Look, yes,
We've
yes,
never
it
seen the
is.
nation level.
yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay, here's the thing.
We've never seen
Now,
one.
to your guys' point, if Thomas Andre, Thomas Andre's probably not going to take his first L. That's why this nigga probably is not there. Because again, if that is to your guys' point earlier, if this bigger giant is not the giant monarch or whatever, if he's not the strongest thing in that gate, he's getting anybody probably besides Sung Jin Woo. Maybe even Woo has to team up with somebody. We don't know. Well, I would assume not because of the shadows. But again, anybody else is getting jumped and ran
No.
through.
We haven't seen. That's what I'm saying. We have not seen the boys. They were talking that cash money about the Chinese guy with the 2 swords on the naval ship. They were like, "Bro, this guy's a force by himself."
Okay,
He's
where do you scale this in terms of Jeju Island? That's the question.
Okay, Trent.
this is Jeju Island is nothing.
Yeah, you got to
Jeju Island
remember
is nothing.
that there are S rank gates over the entire world. That's the reason why the nation levels aren't there, because there's literally an S rank gate in the United States right
And
now.
I'm just saying, as far
But-
I was just using that as far as
who's
plot
handling that?
purposes.
Who's
In
handling
Maryland.
Right, they handle the things that they know they can handle.
It's
Now,
an
keep in
S-rank
mind,
gate. They don't have a
They
choice.
don't know that they can't handle this. All I'm saying is, my point is, for the plot purposes, they're not here right now.
I'm
Because
telling you,
I do believe here's the thing, the other nation rank hunters that we've seen basically was like almost kind of wanting to try their hand at Baru. You know what I'm saying? Most did have confidence, but they acted like it would be a little testy test.
they said it would be
Now,
fun.
Now, if Japan dwarfs Jeju Island, bro, they getting ran, bro. Now you guys like niggas need to stop hyping up the nation rank and downplaying Sung Jin Woo. It don't
Okay.
make no sense.
Okay. Let me give you some examples of why you're hyping up Sung Jin Woo way too much right now. Okay, so when he first got Tusk, I can't remember what his real name was, but he Tusk.
My boy, Cargilin.
Jin-woo came at the end of the fight. He didn't use any shadows, and he fought Tusk and the 3 generals that were there. He didn't fight anybody else.
Okay.
That was it, right?
Okay.
Jeju Island. Who did he fight? He fought Baru.
True.
He didn't fight. He
And
didn't fight the
Baru.
whole island. I mean,
Okay.
he didn't fight the whole island. They were already there doing their thing before he got there. You didn't see Jin-woo fight the entire island. That's not nation level. That's Jin-woo fighting one thing. What was the big extravagant thing? He's like, oh, this is nation level because he did this one thing. Yes, he fought 1v1 and beat something. If you put Thomas Andre against Baru 1v1, of course, you're gonna see the same results.
I got a point to hop on too. So, in regards to actualizing Sun Jin-woo, because I don't want to say downplay. I don't believe that I'm misinterpreting any of the scales. I believe that Sun Jin-woo isn't nation level because we haven't seen nation level. Like, we don't know what it means to be nation level, so it's wrong for us.
We do know what it means to be nation level.
We haven't seen it.
And doing an S-ring gate.
We've never seen a single nation level 100 fight.
Yeah, we haven't seen a fight yet. If we haven't seen a fight, then how are you going to tell how strong they are? Come on.
But here's what I was saying. Well, in the fight where we all know
that it's confirmed that it's feet based.
Yeah, but in the fight with Baru, right? We know that Shadows come back as the weaker form of the original. Whenever Chahae fought the Shadow of Baru, sure, he was told to hold back. Sure, he was told to like not kill her or whatever. But with her own skill, she did indeed force him to like lose control. So for a moment, get into a situation where he was gonna let loose. That's not an indication that she was gonna match his top skill or that he wouldn't have killed her. But I was indeed surprised that she was able to force the great monster Baru, the individual who Sun Jin-woo had just matched hand to hand and convincingly beat. He convincingly beat the original Baru, but seeing Chahae be able to like threaten Baru made me feel like the S rank aren't just trash. And I'm not saying that Chahae isn't one of the strongest of the S ranks that we've seen. She's definitely up there, but there are other strong S ranks. And if there are strong S ranks, then that means that the nation level guys above them that we haven't seen fight before, that may even be able to match Baru, the original, or deal with the original Baru. I don't think we've seen their extent. If Sun Jin-woo has the ability to soon be able to populate the majority of Korea, because I think that's what we're going to see next. We're going to see those shadows start to be stationary and like guards amongst all of Korea when we start to get to these larger conflicts. I believe that the other nation level guys have those. These people are protecting entire vasts of land. Like China's huge. If it's the same thing as the real world, China's huge. The United States is huge, and these people are protecting it. Like I don't think. Let me put it like this: the dragon that destroyed half of the United States, Sun Jin-woo can't handle that. I don't think he can handle that right now. That exists. Okay. People stop that.
Now, I will say this. First of all, your statement of them being stationed around the globe, that's dope. Now, I think him not being able to beat the dragon is cap. But rewinding back to the original statement of the Chahae. Now, and I could completely be wrong, but did Sun Jin-woo not tell Baru to kind of hold back, and then Baru kind of snapped for a second? So yes, even though Chahae did, impress a little bit, she ain't no slouch. She would have got kind of washed, even though Baru was nerfed by being a shadow in the first place. But we also know that Baru is going to continue to level up. So even it could be arguable that he's even going to be that Sun Jin-woo's shadows will eventually maybe be nation level. But again, it's feet based. At that point, the SC is just it's a vast C. They don't really even know where to place you once you're at S. These guys have became nation ranked basically due to, I won't say happenstance, but it's more of a political ranking rather than a true power scaling, I believe, when it comes to like the bigger things in the story. Like, I don't think it yes, I do believe that the nation rank hunters may end up playing a role, but they gonna have to team up just like they did against the dragon type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody handled it 1v1, but if anybody could, it would probably be Sun Jin-woo because none of his fights are technically 1v1 in the first place. But
I just don't. I don't see like Sung being able to fight a threat that destroyed half of a nation. Like, I get what you're saying, but To me,
Baru
you're
would have
1 point.
destroyed half of a nation if left unchecked. He ran through everybody's S rank hunters. There would be no S rank hunters if basically if no nation rank person stepped in and just until all the S ranks took an L, it'd be a catastrophe because Baru would have washed everybody.
Sure, agree. In Japan,
he killed 13 in minutes.
in one nation that may not be the strongest. But you mentioned this earlier, and I think that's the point that I want to hold on to the strongest. That the sea of S rank is large, and that at the higher end of it, there's no real way to put it. And because we don't know where the marker or where the threshold of nation level is, I don't feel comfortable just saying that like Sun Jin-woo has escaped the sea and he's now on the surface of like, the threshold of nation level. I don't know what it is, and especially with what we just saw up against the double gate, where he struggled up against these huge giants. His blades weren't able to pierce through the god statues like skin. He did knock it down with devastating force, but it's as Sun Jin-woo has always been. He balances his points, he balances his abilities, and whenever one's lacking, he builds up that ability while he's maneuvering with the others. So even if he can't use his blades to cut through that statue, maybe later on he will. But that's a sign of growth. To me, that's a context clue that Sun Jin-woo hasn't reached his prime, and especially that we're just now starting what may be the biggest conflict in the entire series, the invasion from a different dimension in multiple places around the Earth, with giant, maybe monarch, colossal levels or ranks invading. I think now would be the time to have Sun Jin-woo start approaching that or getting there. But if he's already nation level, I'm not sure what's next.
I believe
full-blown monarch.
Yeah, and right at this point now, that depends on if you guys think that he's also now inherited with the Dark Heart, if he's now inherited the full monarch abilities, or maybe that just is a segue to, I don't know, start developing more or start. Well, clearly his like mana or magic has increased or whatever. So that's one perk we've already seen. We don't know what else he's gonna get, but yeah, I do. Like I said, even with that increase, I would think that ability puts him over the nation rank hunters. Again, I do think he was already over that. I think that the nation rank hunters are just the only thing that in my opinion, that the only thing that the regular human world have to hold on to. Like that's their top brass to call upon. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that once we get to scaling the actual monarchs, that they're really going to be a factor. At least as individuals. As a team, maybe a whole different thing. But as individuals,
I can see that, but I don't think Sun Jin-woo is going to be a match for the Monarchs either.
That could be true. I guess my whole thing is like, I can't, as much as I want to scale Sun Jin-woo and say he's, monarch level, he's nation level, like without seeing a nation level do something, because like they don't say this Japan S-rate gate is any stronger than the other S-rate gates. Only thing that we know is Jin-woo's dad said this is the prophecy being fulfilled. Their S-rate gates opening everywhere. So therefore, the nation levels are going to have to clear those gates. Jin-woo's not going to go from gate to gate hopping. He might do it. He might do that, but he's not going from gate to gate, in my opinion, and beating every single gate. So nation levels will have to. It would.
Bro, he would be able to do a lot of them.
I'm not saying he
couldn't. The only reason he wouldn't do it is because of the politics that is in place. He can't just fly over America, fly over to Russia,
but at the same time,
and take care of gates.
And with the mana increase, he probably can.
Okay, look,
he could, but because of the politics in place, he can't.
I'm not saying that he can't do it.
Has anybody here read the novel?
No.
Okay, good.
We'll pretty much say that. So what I'm going to say is that yes, he could do it. He can go from gate to gate, and eventually, especially if it clears this gate, is because it's making him stronger with shadows, of course, leveling up. We get all that. But I'm saying though is that the story is basically like you got to take what the story's giving you. If the story says that the nation levels are busy because they're having to deal with their own gates in their own countries, then you're going to have to assume that they're going to have to clear these said gates. It's going to show you, it's giving you how strong they are. I'm not saying Sun Jin-woo won't get stronger than them, but they're strong enough to handle their own stuff right now.
Assumably, just like with Homeboy that just got washed. Assumably, they, from what the story has told us, even
Yes.
again, like he assumed that he'd be able to take the dungeon on. Now, I'm
But
not
there
saying that
is
any
no
of them are going to
Japan
take an
nation
L,
level.
but I'm not. I'm just saying that I'm not saying that any of them are going to take an L, but you can't necessarily assume that we may get a report of somebody not making it through whatever happened type shit. You know what I'm saying?
But
Because again, just
okay,
because they said they're deployed elsewhere doesn't mean they're going to take the dub.
look, all I'm gonna say is like at least I'm gonna give you this right here. United States, that gate's gonna be cleared. I could put any Chipotle bowl, anything on it. The United States gate is gonna be cleared, no problem. Thomas Andre's already been introduced to the story. They've already said like how strong he was. Already they've alluded to it many times.
I also agree. I agree.
Therefore, United States gate is gonna be clear.
I'm not folding on this nigga Thomas Andre. Everybody be hyping him up, but I ain't folding.
Are you gonna make another bet that you want not gonna go on? Because like I'm still waiting on it.
I'm not gonna, man. What's up?
Me and
What's
Trent
up?
still got our bet going on. Let me and Trent finish our bet first.
Wait, what's ours?
Ours was on that Jin-woo.
We don't think we finalized that, did we? Did we finalize that? Because I was just talking.
We did finalize that. It's in the video.
Oh yeah. You pull up the clip. I got you, B.
Yeah, you ain't say Blaine, Kristen.
Okay, look, all right, we can go on and on about this yet, but
clip.
All I'm gonna say is without proof, like the solid proof, we've seen. We saw Jin-woo do his thing. We haven't seen Nation Level do their thing. We haven't seen Monarchs do anything at all. Or Nation Level. So when they show us in the story, then you can make all the assumptions. You can say all you want to. As right now, we got nothing.
Okay, but here's this. And I think was to what Chrome was saying earlier. I do think that if Sung Jin-woo were to face a Monarch, he may stand one of the better chances. Because, and again, we don't know for a fact, but we could assume that the Shadow Monarch is one of the better abilities. You know what I mean? Just because of the, I guess you could say, endless feats. Like,
yeah, because
so for
the longer the battle goes on that the Monarch is in, the more powerful he becomes.
Exactly, because so as he beats, if he does go 1v1 against a Monarch, and let's say it's the Ice Elf or whatever the hell, the more that niggas, soldiers lose, the more soldiers Sung Jin-woo gains.
I mean, you have
to
to an extent.
That's assuming that it's not a 1v1 fight.
You see. Okay, yeah, that's assuming that at that point, the
Shadow Monarchs are just going around in gates right now. There's not an army there. It's just them.
Right, but what I'm saying, okay, now that's saying.
And Sung also doesn't have the Shadow Monarch's pool of magic. He has his own.
Now, keep in mind as well, if he
is pool of magic eventually,
and if he doesn't have, if the Monarch doesn't have their personal armies or whatever, I think that is a bonus for Sung Jin-woo, because again, he's still jumping somebody at that point in a worst case scenario. Now, we don't really typically see him just pull out 1,000 shadows on somebody and just jump them like that. But again, even if it's not another army where he's pulling from it and getting more soldiers from, even if he's just got his generals and his big top dogs, that's still a lot for one Monarch to fight.
Okay, so we saw Baru do his thing, right? And we understand that the Shadow Baru is not as strong, but he might be strong now as the original. Like Jin-woo, when he got ready to attack Baby Girl, he literally grabbed that dude's hand right in mid swing like it was nothing. And if you're trying to scale the Monarch to Jin-woo at that level, where he can just stop Baru like it's nothing, then Baru's not gonna stand a chance. It'll be just like Baru did everybody else, the other S-Ranks. If you're trying to shut like the Monarchs, it'll
be like Idris.
Yeah, it'd be like it's nothing. Like forget you could put all the people out there that you want. If they're nowhere near the Shadow Monarch's level, you might as well not be out there to begin with.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been multiple bosses who have just one-shotted or like just dispatched Idris like nothing. I think we can 100% expect.
Don't do that to my boy. Yeah, yes, you're right, but don't do that to my boy. Like
we can.
Now here's the thing:
Argylin and Baru to be like kaput or useless whenever it comes to like fighting these guys or to be useful somewhere else.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that their attacks would be rendered useless. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though they could get washed, like they could still be used as like Baru's speed alone could be used as a good distraction or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And to JC's point, you know, the shadows could, depending upon when the clash happens, the shadows are going to get stronger. Or we may get stronger shadows. Who knows?
Yeah, Tusk is like a whole armament or a whole spell set that boosts people or like boosts soldiers or whatever, or like can help in like auxiliary shit. So there's definitely uses. Like we've seen the Sung Jin-woo army fight, like especially in the Demon Castle, them fighting together. Like he started to also put them in groups. That's when we started to see like Sung Jin-woo take more of a tactic route in regards to the troops. Like we've seen their capabilities, and most recently when Baru went on dungeon hunting on his own, that was a great, amazing like advancement in Sung Jin-woo's capabilities because it's alluding to what's going to be happening later on. I think you mentioned earlier that one of the biggest issues as to why Sung Jin-woo won't be able to go across the world hitting all these gates, you know, one by one like a tour or something like that, is because of the politics of the area. Well, if Sung Jin-woo's setting his shadows everywhere, that's a much easier way to travel.
It is, but I think at the same time he doesn't want to. That's another thing. Like you can see how his family is affecting him now because sister said, "Hey, I don't want you to go," and he's like, "Okay, I'm not going." I mean, eventually, I think he will go, but I mean, that's not his whole thing. Is not to get more power. He was only doing that for the whole system thing. Now he doesn't have reason to fight. But I mean, I'm not sure where we are, or how we got off on such a tangent. But go back to the story.
Nation levels. That's
Nation
how
levels.
we got off.
Okay,
If
so
we just stay away from nation levels, we'll be all right.
So back to the story. We're here with Jin-woo's dad, the Eternal Slumber, and he gave him a blank check. Anything you want, you got it. But at the end of the chapter, he said they have to make a choice. So I was making my theories on what his choice was. It might have been a little bit simpler than I was making it. But what do you guys think his actual choice is? What is he choosing between?
I think at first he's not going to help Jin-woo's dad, mainly because I think he's gonna have that feeling like, yo, this dude trying to buy me, I can't be bought type thing. And cut on top of that, he's still very secretive about the whole system thing. You know, yeah, he can mention it, but it's like, okay, if I have this potion that can cure this eternal sleep, they're gonna ask, yo, where I got it from.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't just go out and be like, yo, yeah, here you go, bam. So it's kind of like that. But I do think, of course, like we all said, he's going to go to Japan. It's just a matter of when. But I think he's going to be kind of hesitant on helping Jin-woo's dad, but I think eventually he will help him.
Is that the choice that he was thinking about at the end?
I mean, the way they made it, at the end, it was like either or. Like, do I help or do I go to Japan? But I'm like, I just don't see why he couldn't do both. Like, it's really not like, oh, if I help him, it's gonna take me forever and a day to help him cure this disease. And you know, if I help him, I'm not gonna be able to go to Japan. I just don't see why they kind of made it like a either or type thing when you can really do both. It's not gonna take you, 5 years to give him a fucking potion. So
Right.
I don't.
See,
I didn't get that part.
I didn't think the choice when he said like I have to choose, it was just isolated to like that moment or even those two options. Because previously, we had the choice of whether he was going to destroy the system and destroy the architect and destroy all that or not. So I kind of thought that question or that phrase, at least in my reaction, like was a really, really loaded statement. Like we may see Sung Jin-woo take really drastic action or like really drastic decision making. Maybe he does take the money. Maybe he like builds upon the guild, or maybe he takes some. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen because I don't think we got information about the gate in the United States, the Maryland gate, if it like had busted open yet. We just know that Japan is currently being sieged.
No, Japan's the only gate that busted open.
Okay, bet. So it's like I don't think he's in the mental state to where like the entire world is like on fire. It's just like, oh, there's a gate in a different country. It's a big one. Oh, it's happened before. That may be the reason why he was so casual in regards to like, looking at it, or in regards to checking it out on the news. But something different's gonna happen because of that last panel. The last panel said, I have to choose. And not only is it a choice about whether going to Japan or not, it may be a choice about whether he's going to be a hunter moving forward or not. Whether like everything he's been fighting for has been worth it, whether he's realizing different things, whether like things have gone too far because now it's jeopardizing his body. Like when Jin-woo made a decision before, I think it was up to when he got stabbed, and the game was like, here, do this, and then you'll be alive. Like that was a choice that he made. Mm-hmm. That was an active choice that he made. This has all been about choices. So if the story stopping us here, telling us that he has to make a big choice now, I think that the only reasonable thing to believe is that it's going to be a drastic one.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that drastic.
I kind of think it's going to be drastic.
I don't think it's going to be that drastic to where it's like, do I want to continue being a hunter? Everything this whole thing started about him protecting his family and being strong enough to protect everything that he wants to protect. I don't think he's just going to stop being a hunter and everything just because of what's going on. I think he's going to continue being a hunter because his end goal right now is to protect his family by any means necessary. So he's going to continue to level up. Also, the fact that he's going to continue to level up because he still needs answers on this system and everything that's going on top of the memory. So he's not going to quit. I think it's just like I said, I don't know why they made it seem like it was only one or the other when you can do.
I didn't mean it in immediate though. I mean, as in like he'll say like the story will make it clear that like Jin-woo's on the path to stop being a hunter. Like he'll make it clear that like he wants, or he'll make his emotions or his feelings clear that he doesn't like the conditions of being a hunter, and that this will be his final task or his final goal is to stop this. And it'll probably come with the reveal of what the bigger scale is. But the fact that like he confronted the hunter and he was like, what is this all about? Like that was at least a statement of finality, wasn't it? Or like a presentation of finality, right? Like he was confronting the architect, and the architect was to give him answers, and he didn't. So we're on that cliffhanger. That's why I think that like that cliffhanger and then this cliffhanger have to be associated somehow. It's not just whether he's gonna help Japan or take money from this guy, but the game has answers that it hasn't given him, and that's he has to take action on that too.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Okay, so Trent, how you feel about it before I just go off and start talking about whole bunch of stuff?
No, go ahead, bro.
It's not nation level, bro.
That's not nation level, of course. So
we don't need that again.
So I mean, like, okay, so just to go back a little bit, like Jin-woo, his whole goal was to help his mother, like pay medical bill for his mother. It wasn't to protect his family. It's like that. It was, my mother is sick. I need to provide for help provide for my family and help my mom. He reached that goal right before Jeju Island, and we saw the kind of lackadaisical attitude he had once that goal was reached. He was, not really that interested in jumping into gates anymore. With the whole leveling up thing, he was still doing it, but it was more of a passive thing. So once again, once he reached another goal, another milestone with the whole double dungeon, we see Jin-woo, he woke up, he was contemplating going to the gate. It wasn't, I'm going to go to the gate. And then once his sister came out, he saw how scared she was. Jin-woo once again saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't need to go. Because his thing is not to become the strongest. His thing is not to, beat the system or figure out the system. His thing is, well, my whole thing is I'm a family man. I'm worried about my family. If my family's fine, then I'm fine.
Well, he already stated that if this doesn't get taken care of, it's going to spread. So
yeah, eventually, yes. If it doesn't,
so
and he also said he wants to literally beat the system.
Exactly. So this whole thing of I'm a family man is true, but at the same time, he has to protect his family, which means he has to maintain getting as strong as possible in order to do that.
Yeah, he wants to beat the system, but the person who made the system, who basically is dead now, well, not actually dead, that fake body that is there is dead. I mean, he literally overrided the system.
Time out. Beep. Time out. All right, Trent.
Oh, there you
Blaine said at
It's
the
very
30-minute and 17-second mark of the last podcast, you said, and I quote, "I will put a Chipotle bowl on it."
yes. Now, as you see
And
in my
I don't,
comments,
I don't, no.
you don't be disrespectful. I already said it in the comments. I did originally state that. Now wait until there was a point in time where even JC is in the conversation when we're talking about is this finalized. You're gonna have to watch the stream from that point.
Go back and listen to this whole
I need
show.
to hear the
Look at the
finalization.
live chat.
You're talking about when he said if his dad is going to join the fight or something like that?
Yes, because I remember.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
also saying,
That definitely wasn't finalized. I remember that.
Yeah.
But you were like, you put a bowl on it, and we were like, nah, we ain't, nah.
Yeah,
You were starting mad confident, and we were like, nah.
Yeah, I wanted it, but I still do want it.
It was pretty much a giveaway that he wasn't gonna help.
Yeah, I definitely was hardcore on it at first for sure, but I definitely didn't go through with it.
All right. Look, here's the thing. I mean, Jin-woo's gonna join the fight. Got it. We understand that. But at the same time, like his motivations aren't the normal. Like I need to level up because of something. Yes, the system is out there, but he doesn't know the impending danger. For Jin-woo, this is just another gate that he can clear anytime he wants to. But the impending danger is my family is safe. Someone eventually, there are nation levels out there, will handle it. That's why he's not such a, just jumping out there. I need to go right now. And I guess I'm missing something in chat. But at the same time, it's going to be something that has to happen out there for Jin-woo to say, hey, I got to go out there. No matter if my sister thinks that, something's going to happen or she doesn't feel safe, that she's traumatized, but something's going to happen that says, Jin-woo, I need to go out there. It's probably going to have something to do with his dad. If I had to guess, his dad is somewhere near the area, so therefore,
I don't think it's gonna have nothing to do with his dad. His dad is in the background for a reason and not making himself known for a reason. I don't think he's gonna go for anything for his dad because he doesn't even know his dad is around.
Well, I mean, okay, so you don't think he's gonna feel the animal, whatever that the kid talking about for his dad? I mean, there's definitely helicopters flying around. His dad is out in the open.
Nah, if his dad can jump in gates and come out of gates and all of this other stuff, no.
Okay, then. So what's gonna happen for Jim to go out there? I guess that's the next question.
The only other thing I can see is to make sure it doesn't spread to Korea.
So you think it's just gonna be a couple days and?
Yeah, he's gonna be like, "Yo, nobody's taking care of this. Let me go ahead, step in, take care of this, and I'm just knock it out." On top of that, of course, like I said, he wants to level up and be stronger so that if anything happens, he'll be able to stop it and protect his family. And also, you can never have too many shadow soldiers.
I think Baru going around clearing that dungeon by himself was a precursor to this. I think that Sun Jin-woo's going to sit back because his sister doesn't want him to go and have Baru actually take the lead and start doing that more often. And we're going to see
gain XP.
Yeah, see like 4 or 5 chapters of Sun Jin-woo working with his teams or of the team actually going out there to try and solve the issue and losing.
Nah. Jin's not going to send his team by himself. He's going to go with them. He's already stated that the reason why he fights the bosses and all of this stuff is so he wouldn't get rusty and be too reliant on his shadow. So he's not just going to send Baru and them by themselves and not go. So he's going to go.
Well, I mean, you think of it like this: like as of right now, he doesn't seem interested in going. But at the same time, if you send Baru in there, and Baru
that's what I meant. I meant like that's gonna happen first.
He's not gonna send Baru by himself.
Why not?
He already did.
That was first of all, that was a whole different thing because Baru was there with other soldiers with a whole nother guild. This is going into a place where there's nobody. He's not just gonna send Baru and a few ants and be like, okay, y'all go see what you can do, and if you can't handle it, I'm gonna step in. No, he's gonna go with them and body everybody.
If I remember correctly,
that doesn't make sense.
The biggest danger when Guru was with the other guild was Guru not harming them. It wasn't a matter of like Guru needing to be babysat. That's what I'm saying. That like this is a situation to where he can go renegade. You're seeing the full force, and I meant it as like this would be the approach, a four chapter approach until Sun Jin-woo arrives, just like Jeju Island, because Jeju Island was the Koreans went in first with the Japanese, and then once things got crazy, Sun Jin-woo came in and saved the day. So I'm thinking it's gonna be the exact same thing, but instead we're gonna see a literal delay in chapters where we see Sun Jin-woo not actively not going, wanting to go, but choosing not to go because he's gonna rely on Baru or rely on Tuscan Baru and Idris or a squad to go out there and actually handle it, and then see what happens.
No, I don't believe that for 1 second.
Okay, so if you don't believe it, you say what you think is going to happen. Like, what's going to make?
I just said what's going to happen.
You just think that it's going to get
he's going to want to stop it from spreading. It's already out of control. That's first and foremost.
Right.
He's going to want to stop it from
It's out of
spreading.
control.
He already wants to go. The only reason he's not going at this moment is because Jenna said don't go and to stay. That's the only reason he's not going. If it wasn't for that, he would.
That's not a very good reason not to go.
What you mean? He didn't go to Jeju in the beginning because his mom came and he didn't want to leave her. That's the same reason. It's just Jen.
I kind of agree with him.
Yeah, that's also not a very good reason.
I mean, like,
I'm telling y'all, Jen is not going to just send Baru.
There's a lot of hero stories.
He's going. This is the Jin-woo story. Like, what is this? Obvious.
I get what you're saying. I'm saying
He's not
wrong. It's not like weird.
Send Baru first. He's going to go with them.
Okay, so all it's gonna take is, I guess his sister is gonna be like, okay, go ahead and go.
No, he's
gonna
go regardless.
Where's your argument is the fact that he's not going is because his sister said don't go. So
that's what was said in the chapter. He said he wasn't going because
his sister is gonna have to say, hey.
No,
go.
I do agree that he will defy her. I'm just saying that he will be defying her the entire time by sending Baru first, and once that gets out of hand, he'll go.
No.
Now here's the real question, though. And maybe I missed a panel or something.
I'll put a Chipotle bowl on that.
You with Chipotle bowls? No, we're not doing it.
This nigga. Look, now I may have missed a panel, but what I still want to know what the kind of what Grim was saying earlier. What is the big decision? Because again, if we're just speaking to Jin-woo's dad right now, all he's really looking for is the solution. You know what I'm saying? And does Jin-woo not have some of that shit still on deck?
Yeah,
he get like 5 of them. So
yeah,
what is that? So what is the decision to be made that is going to defy his sister's wishes? Like at this point, because that's not what he's being asked right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like why then did we get that panel?
That's why I said I don't know why it was like that, because it didn't make sense to me. The ending
because the panel is still, if I'm not mistaken, he's still talking to Jin-woo's dad, right?
Yeah.
So again, he's only being at they simply talking about the cure and him getting paid whatever he wants. He didn't say I need you to cure me and go handle this, unless we hear more terms later on. So what is, if he just has to pull it out the inventory and slide it the man across the counter, then there's really no defiance to her to her wishes.
Okay, I
mean, unless it's just.
It's not in correlation to it's two separate reasons. Well, at least this was my opinion. I'm not putting this on anybody else or saying that anybody else said that. My viewpoint was that them saying that I have to make a choice was in reference to multiple things, because there are multiple instances where Sun Jin-woo was given a life-changing dilemma recently, whether it's the system revealing secrets and then withholding others that he really, really needs, or whether it's his sister telling him, I don't want you to fight, and it may be indefinitely that she doesn't want him to fight, because it's not just this time where something's going to be going on wrong. It's multiple times. Or helping this individual here because there's more consequences to just helping him. This is the only person in the world who's been healed from this issue is his mother. And that's why they know for a fact that there was something peculiar that happened. So what's going to be the case with this other guy?
And that was basically my theory on it. It's not like, I always have to go back to Jin-woo's character. Like, his character is like, he's living in a small apartment with his mom and his sister. Like, he's I mean, as famous as he is for being an S-rank hunter and all that kind of stuff, he still tries to stay low key. You can see that with how he lives his life. You can see that with how he, even though he just wants to level up and not share it, he has a very small guild. Like he wants to do things kind of undercover, but you having this mogul out here saying, "Hey, there's something weird with your mom waking up, so we're gonna connect it to you." And once we connect it to you, like, okay, you do you have a potion? If you have a potion, then yeah, I'm going to want to have it, number one. But then you think he's gonna keep his information safe? You think it's gonna not want to sell it?
On top of that, kind of like what Jonathan said in the chat, he said, yeah, they're gonna find him. He has a potion that he can't mass produce in order to sell.
That's what I'm saying. Then it becomes Jin-woo's out in the open. His family becomes more in danger because, eventually it's like, hey, he has his potion. So I mean, it's not just him that has to think about. He has to think about his family also. And then there's this whole thing of, okay, if I tell them no, that I'm not going to help you, then, you could throw my information out there anyway. You can, slander me in the news. There's so many things out there that he has to think about.
He's already slanderable in the news, though. If he was really tripping off that, he wouldn't have told homeboy that he heard the system was calling him and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And this is again this is in my opinion as well, but there's too much going on for him to really give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And even if somebody's gonna sell that information, again, his shit's already out there. Everybody knows he, aside from nation rank hunters, he's that nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's that guy. And you know what I'm saying? That's if you ain't called in the nation rank, that's the next person they want. And arguably, some people maybe want to call some Jin-woo first. You know what I'm saying? Because they might be able to get him for a little bit cheaper.
Shit, I would.
But again, he's I don't know, man.
I mean, I just think that of course you're right in that aspect. I can't say or dispute that, but I just think that he's thinking of the repercussions of if I give him this potion that, the system actually, provided for him by him doing, the special gate, what could happen? And if I don't give it to him, what could happen?
But here's the thing. Like you said, the system did provide it to him, but if it was not to be used, why provide him with multiple? Because there's really, in the system eyes, unless it's legitimately, fancying some Jin-woo, it wouldn't hold its mother to any higher, pedestal than, just another Jin-O's dad or, another random person. If you get 5 or 4, whatever you got, that's what you get to use, hypothetically. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just don't at that point, even if Jin-woo just slides the check back and just says, yo, I'm gonna give you this, but you don't say nothing to nobody, that guy's gonna be like, bet. You know what I'm saying? That is not gonna be, to anybody who's trying to keep their life, them not spilling the beans, that's a small price to pay, because even then it's still not gonna set it's not gonna set some alarms, but it's not like he's a person who like Jin-ho or like Jin-woo's mom woke up from an eternal slumber. He just never fell into it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I would assume you're right, but at the same time, for some reason, until we get, maybe better translations or whatever, then we can figure out why that panel was so significant. I really can't really correlate why whatever situation was with the whole potion, why he had to choose between doing that and his sister and betraying her feelings. It didn't make any sense. I'm hoping that they make it make sense, because those two don't really seem to correlate in any way, unless we're just talking about him keeping his family safe and stuff getting out in the news or something like that. Something just totally just normal that's nothing to do with the gate. But let's just be real. He's going to the gate, whether he defies his sister, whether he just feels like he needs to go, whether he wants to get stronger. But even though he doesn't have a reason to get stronger at the current moment, because he doesn't know the monarchs are out there. But whatever.
So, all right, let's go ahead and wrap up. Well, what do we grade this chapter? Trent, you said a 7. Do you still stick with that?
I do.
All right.
7.5.
All right, Graham, what you rate the chapter?
Yeah, I'll give it a 7 as well.
JC?
Good chapter, 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with Trent and Graham. I'm gonna also give it a 7. So that's it for today's episode of the Hunters Association podcast. Thank you everyone for rocking out with us today. I know we got off tangent a lot like we normally do, but nation level discussions normally brings that out of us. Also, make sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also check out all of our individual channels that will be linked below. And follow us on Twitter, Hunters Association Podcast. Also, join the Discord as Slander Sundays probably going to be hitting again because Dragon Ball Super is back. And yeah. So anything y'all want to say before we head out? Anything else?
Good here.
Like the video, man.
All right, y'all. Peace. We out.